Yes, good afternoon everyone. Maayong hapon sa tanan. And I'm very honored to be invited to speak in this forum. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. So once more, thank you very much for this opportunity to be able to share to everyone. And my topic is in support of the theme, the impact of the pandemic to local youth development. So I dare say that youth arise or kabataan bangon. And I argue that the youth have that amazing resilience to rise amidst all these challenges in the new normal. It's because we have been talking about the disruption that COVID-19 has done to all of our lives, especially to our youth. And yes, as mentioned by the Johns Hopkins Center for Adolescent Health, the children and also our adolescents, they appear to be less at risk for severe COVID-19 symptoms. However, it may be that because they are young and still have stronger immune system, but it doesn't mean that they don't ever get infected. But the pandemic has changed our way of life, and there's a lot of social or physical distancing and other interruptions of what we were used to. And school experience is not the same anymore, and this can be very challenging to our students and also to the parents as well. And yes, mental health and well-being concerns, we've been talking about it. And even if we are digitally connected with all forms of social media and other digital platforms, there's an increasing sense of loneliness and isolation. So these disruptions create several levels of pressure to the mental and emotional state and may be addressed by positive or negative coping mechanisms. So earlier, our discussant mentioned the quarantine things that made our youth busy, kahit ako din. So it could be a positive coping mechanism, could be about relaxation or self-care, o naging tending to our gardens and to our plants, or cooking, or some even engage in online selling. But there are also negative coping mechanisms. Some included drinking intoxicating beverages, or getting into vices, or some have withdrawn, while some also have spent too much time on the internet. So these kinds of things, or anything that's too much, will impact negatively on the mental health, well-being, and well-being of our youth. So actually, these behaviors of our youth are included in the insights that we have gathered in the human-centered design, or it's the HCD process we did in 2019 for the project. So this is the time adolescents, this is supposedly the time that they experience a high degree of emotional vulnerability, which can lead them to engage in unhealthy relationships or risky sexual behavior. So that's one form of negative coping mechanism. And another insight also, because our adolescents are sometimes, not only sometimes, most often are present on what is now. So they are present focused and live in the moment. So making it difficult for them to evaluate how day-to-day life decisions connect them to their future goals. So meron silang saying na YOLO, or you only live once. So feeling nila malakas sila, very able-bodied, and may think hindi sila magkakasakit. Kaya lang, baka lang hindi nila kayang tingnan yung far beyond other than what is now. So maraming several degrees of impact on the lives of our youth. And by the way, yung HCD or human-centered design pala, na proseso na ginawa is we consider yung human perspectives throughout the design process, and usually it's used to address yung complex challenges such as yung prevention sana ng unintended pregnancies na marami din dito sa Davao City. It's also rising, and of course during the time of pandemic, naging parang social emergency yung dumadami or tumataas daw na cases of teenage pregnancy. So we hope na with that kind of process, we focus on identifying solutions that address the user needs. So in this case, for our adolescents. We also mentioned that yes, since we are the youth and we are confined in our homes, so there's the lack of safe space, and this is also very common. Yung mga recreational spaces, basketballan ba yan, or youth camps or playing fields as mentioned earlier, wala na yun. Nawala na yung opportunity for them to interact with each other. So lahat ng ito, of course, may impact sa sinasabi na youth developmental pathways, na wala na yung opportunity na yon na makapag interact with each other and learn how to be with other people. So it's also very sad that a lot of issues are also challenging family environments as well, if they're especially if they're living in the same confined space with their abusers, or the home does not represent comfort and security anymore. So we know there's a lot of instances na even yung sunog na sinaing, nagagalit na kung sino man yung namamalo dyan. So it's already a cause for violence. And other than that, many of our youth usually also turn to their gadgets or to the social media. And usually then, it's also one of the HCD insight that the youth usually turn to their gadgets or to the social media kasi ito yung gateway to fast-paced or hypersexualized pace. Ang daming makikita doon kung ano-ano, where adolescents find ready access to information. So it's good if they can find good role models and other ways to find relationships. That is, they seek relationships outside the home if they could not find supportive and enabling relationships within the home. And also, adolescents trust friends. No? Nakita rin na itong mga kabataan natin, especially, they look towards sino ba yung more experienced daw na mga friends. So, they are their preferred sources of sexual and reproductive health information instead of going to our health workers, kasi ngayon nahirapan na nga sila mag-access. Before, mahirap. Ngayon, mas naging mahirap. Kaya we have put in place kahit papano mga online platforms that our adolescents could also access. I hope you have visited also the Teen Talk Davao. So hanapin nyo yan sa Facebook for Davao City, the Teen Talk Davao. And yes, when you say more experienced friends, it really depends on how or what kind of experience are they talking about. Is it about sexual experience or on some other life experiences with positive or negative messages? And then yes, it's also about going jobless. Nagkakaroon ng effect sa kanilang income. So, ability to purchase goods and services. So, a lot of them, sabi pa nga dito sa CNN ito na news, and as reported also by the Asian Development Bank and the ILO, marami talaga sa kanilang nawalan ng trabaho, and usually, yung mga youth, sila yung first option for layoff. Bakit? Because usually they lack the experience, or they even lack the clout, no? And in many businesses, they have this practice of last in and first out. And moreover, those who are not yet working will be very much affected too habang kinukompleto nila yung kanilang studies. And under the distance learning mode, malamang hindi na rin sila makapag-transition to the workforce kasi hindi sila makapag-avail ng internships kasi tinigil na rin yung mga internships. Yung mga hotels na wala, yung mga service sector nawawala na sila. So at the rate that these are going, they are the ones who lose this work faster than the adults. However, we will still try to find the silver lining, no? The youth keep themselves busy. So, maraming mga quarantines that they were involved in. So, well, they're doing hopefully, tumutulong sila sa mga household chores, studying or working at home. Ito nga, surfing the internet, among others. But still, yes, they worry about their family's needs. Actually, itong U report na nakasulat, yan, itong U report na nakasulat din dito, this was led by the UNICEF, and you can find it. It's a social messaging tool na free anywhere around the world, where the youth can speak on development issues about child rights, or they can also promote their youth agenda and help improve the communities and hopefully foster positive change. So itong nakasulat dito na survey results are in BARM. So in BARM area, they also experience these things. Alright, so how are youth going to rise up to these challenges? In this new normal, the youth resilience continues to amaze us in many ways amidst all these challenges. So, for example, an example na makikita natin na talagang very resilient at saka naghahanap ng paraan ng ating mga kabataan. So, an example of this is nagkaroon pala ng 18th Search for 10 Accomplished Youth Organizations Award. So, habang nag-search ako sa net, I found out this one. So, this Tayo Awards, it garnered 853 entries from July to August 21 this year. So, in about a month and a half, they were able to gather that much entries from all over the Philippines. And itong mga finalists na ito, it's worth noting na 5 of this, ayan, makita nyo dyan, it's highlighted, 5 of these come from Mindanao. So, congratulations sa taga Mindanao. There's 5 of these organizations that were selected. And if you have the time to visit, if they have websites or social media pages, we can try to look into them and be inspired, and malaman natin yung mga stories nila, anong ginawa nila to help other people, groups of people, and how were they able to come up with these amazing ideas during this high pressure time. Yeah, very high pressure. And aside from that also, I'm going to share with you na we also did our own, we also initiated our own in August, a free online social media card workshop. Yan po ang Sining Eskwela. It's open for all Filipinos, youth age 10 to 19 years old. So, ang aim po nito is sana na-empower yung ating adolescents to promote their vital role in their own development as well as in their communities. So, online activity po ito na sana yung mga adolescents natin through art, they are able to make sense of their current experience and increase awareness of issues related to adolescent health by providing an avenue for self-expression. So amazingly, more than 100 entries representing 15 regions in the country joined this online event. So it's also the first time that we did this. So yung mga outputs nila, it showcases their experience and action-oriented solutions sa iba-ibang mga issues na kinakaharap nila. At makikita nyo rin kung yung kanilang mga output, makikita nyo dito sa virtual gallery na andyan po yung link that you can visit so that you can also appreciate what they have done. And also, aside from this, marami din sa ating mga young people na nagpa-participate also in leading other sexual and reproductive health rights, SRHR initiatives in unprecedented ways. At saka nagkakaroon din ito ng impact sa new learning nila. So, part of this learning is around the issue of gender. Kasi we know that young women and young men have radically different experiences working as advocates of SRHR issues. So, madalas yung mga young women, they experience more harassment, backlash, and insecurity. Yung mga outspoken women, madalas nare-red tag. So, mag-red lips na lang tayo kahit na ma-red tag. So, they do experience these things if they are usually outspoken. And also, they struggle to balance their leadership roles with gender demands on their time and autonomy. For other, also, I'd like to share na in the coming months, hopefully, our adolescents and the youth can look forward to our upcoming digital media activities. So, ngayon pa lang, abangan natin kung anong magiging itsura nito. So, we have this Best I Can Be movement. Another is the So Connected. Ito yung Best I Can Be is showcasing yung resilience and positive character ng Filipino youth. So it's more on an aspirational campaign. And then also the So Connected because we have identified in the HCD Insights na napakalaga ng role ng ating mga parents and their allies. And then also the digital resource. So this could be a website na kung saan yung ating mga parents, our allies, our teachers could find evidence-based na mga resources that they can use also. So actually in our project areas, we are still we can tailor fit also these strategies if they also want to work with us. So yun po, later when we finally launch this, we can find us on social media or YouTube, and we hope that by liking, clicking, and sharing this among yourselves, you can also influence other youth and one another and be part of the ongoing discussion on how our adolescents and the youth can be part of the solution. And right now, recently, this week, we also have this It's Okay to Delay campaign. So finally, this is out. So makita nyo dyan is, well, it's not really for the very young people, pero youth pa rin, di ba? Kasi maraming ang maagang nag-asawa. But maybe meron pa kayong mga life goals na gusto nyong abutin, or sana pagkatapos ng pandemic makapag-travel, no? Mga travel goals. Pero wala pa naman sana silang balak magka-baby. So you can try to visit this site. It's okay to delay. So ano yung plano nyo? Hanapin nyo ang tamang panahon. So, hindi ka nag-iisa, best. Alright? So, visit this social media campaign. And then, ito, The Blind Side. Si Sir Jeff kanina meron siya yung sharing about the movie. I also have mine. And we know na black carbon. May napanood kasi ako early this morning about carbon. And this carbon is transformed into precious and very tough diamonds if subjected to heat and pressure. So, di ba ngayon, this is a time of so much pressure for everyone, and so with our youth. But mind you, tayong lahat, we are all carbon-based life forms. Tayo, ourselves. So, we can be the diamonds in the rough. Just like yung mga bida dito sa movie. The bida, ito si Michael, and si Sandra Bullock is Leanne. So The Blind Side, this is a top grossing 2009 film. So ito well, panoorin nyo na lang kaya. Napakalaking tao niya. He has a very difficult childhood, pero natulungan siya. There was a way na he was accepted and supported and pushed na transform siya into one of the best players sa football. No? Pinag-agawan na nga siya later on kasi magaling pala siya talaga. So the movie only shows that people may never know what they're capable of doing, of becoming better persons, able to help themselves and others as well, unless a difficult opportunity presents itself. But with much hope of a better tomorrow, we can open our eyes, learn from the past, and trust that the world is still a good place if good people do something good. And it's just like how we view the plight of every youth. So many of them maybe are just misunderstood and their capabilities haven't been explored yet, or even themselves haven't discovered yet the wonderful and amazing things that they are capable of doing. So, youth will rise above these challenges. So, ano bang pwedeng gawin ng ating mga kabataan? And I believe after all this very unusual and uncertain at saka very demanding na mga panahon, our youth will rise above all these challenges. And somehow there are mechanisms already in place or being developed to help them. And we can still further improve on what is available, no? So in the development sector, kung saan din ako nagtatrabaho, we are working closely with our government agencies, the LGUs, the private sector, and other partners because we know we cannot do this alone or by ourselves. Very crucial din dito yung youth's willingness. Kung gusto nyo ba to also work on helping yourselves become part of the solution. So for instance, ayan, yung mga anak ko kasi, they have this game about asking question, yung would you rather, no? And the choices could be easy, funny, or sometimes thought-provoking. So now I also ask you, would you rather? So would you rather be part of the solution or be part of the problem? Would you rather risk yourself getting infected? Or would you rather risk yourself of testing the rules? Mapriso jud ka ako, madakpan ka ako. Sige, testing eh. But I hope, no? I hope our youth will heed these few reminders so you can avoid contracting COVID-19. So, testingan nimo, mamatay ka ako. Ayaw na lang. So, sana iwasan muna ang paglabas kung hindi naman kailangan. So, pagpuyo, stay at home. And while at home, you can continue helping in the household chores, like cleaning and disinfecting frequently touched surfaces. You can enrich yourselves also by reading, diligently doing your online or modular schoolwork para walang missing na nagpula-pula, or engage in recreation at home like playing board games, hindi lang puro online games or gadgets, but we have to connect also with our family. And however, yes, many of our youth turn to the internet and social media, but sometimes our youth may even fall prey to many other predators. Oh, it's scary. So, para 2 other nights, some nights ago, I was introduced by my 10-year-old kid about this term, maps. So, this has nothing to do with geography or navigation. So, siya pa yung nasabi sa akin, ano to? So, it means minor attracted person. So, it's a term used by pedophiles in their attempt to normalize their deplorable attraction to children. And, of course, this certainly and definitely is not acceptable. And sana tayo ay maging solusyon. Be the solution. So, well, we have this campaign of BIDA, no? B, ayan na po. B, bawal walang mask. E, isanitize mga kamay. D, dumistansya ng at least 1 metro. A, alamin ang totoong impormasyon. Because the youth have a very crucial and important role of doing this very simple yet effective infection prevention and control measures if done properly. And also very important is the role in spreading correct information, since mahilig naman sila mag-share, and hopefully be the vanguards of correct information. So check your sources if these are reliable. Discern and cross-check also from reliable sources before sharing. So hindi yung sa kung sino-sino lang nakakilala, no? So be responsible netizens. So yesterday, here in Davao City, merong na-release na bagong guideline on liquor ban. Once more, nagawa na ito before, sa ngayon, andito na naman. Because, yung Davaoenos failed to self-regulate. Ouch! So, this Monday lang, nailabas yung EO 57 na nag-a-announce ng mga bagong curfew regulations up to the end of the year. So, sana yung local regulation sana, these were gradually eased up from July to September paunti-unti, kasi gusto rin sana natin ma-revive yung ating economy. But now, dumami talaga. There's a surge in the number of new COVID cases, and this is the highest in Mindanao. So sad. And then, ayun, as of yesterday, 5 p.m., may bagong 99 new cases of COVID in the region, and 76 of which are in Davao City. And yun, we have reached the 5,000 mark in the total number of active cases. Naging case pala ng COVID. Ang active case right now is nasa 1,133. So, dahil dito, ito nga, for failing to self-regulate, we now have stricter measures and cases have gone up. So my questions are, do we set ourselves up for failure? Or should we become part of the solution? Ano kaya ang kaya nating gawin para maging bahagi ng solusyon at hindi parte ng problema? Can we challenge ourselves to be the solution? So, be the solution. And then, even small things and gestures can add up. No? They can add up if more of us do our own part towards the solution. For instance, you can be a bida patroller at maging mapanuri at mapagmatyag laban sa kontrabida. So ano ang kontrabida? Ang COVID. So we can encourage a family, a barangay, or organization in your community to do the bida actions, yung 4 behaviors. So very simple lang yun if done properly, if para po maiwasan yung infection. At sa ngayong panahon ng pandemya, you can be the bida solution sa COVID-19. And also, we have talked about safe space earlier, no? So we also launched very recently this digital campaign on Family Ligtas PH. So please find us on Facebook about gender-based violence prevention. Dahil sa hirap ng pinagdadaanan natin ngayon dahil sa pandemic, normal lang na yun, anxious, nagalit, mapagod, maging malungkot or paghinaan ng loob. Pero sana hindi normal kung sinasaktan ka sa bahay nyo dahil problemado ang kung sino man yun. Dahil that's already gender-based violence. At saka itong GBV, hindi lang sa babae din nangyayari. Pwede maging bakla, tomboy, or the members of the LGBT community, lalaki o iba pang kasarian, nakakaranas din ng GBV. At saka dahil sa community quarantine, mas tumataas ngayon ang kaso ng mga karahasan sa loob ng ating tahanan. So, I hope we can protect each other. So, gawing family ligtas ang pamilya. And we also have hotline numbers. You can see it here, ang hotline numbers. Dahil tayo po ay magkakampi laban sa GBV. We have PNP, we have DSWD, and POPCOM also. Please find them in your local networks or in your local areas. Meron po. And then lastly, at this point, thank you sa inyong lahat. Thank you din Sir Jeff and Sentrong APILA for your time and for listening and for allowing me to share. We look forward to the time where we can freely travel and enjoy our surroundings once more. So it has been said that because of this pandemic, the earth was able to recharge itself, no? So I hope this pandemic also taught us lessons on resilience and rising up to the challenges. O sa tanan natong kabatanunan, akong hagit kaninyo, may challenge to all of you. Bangon, pag-asa ng bayan. Bangon, ang paglaom sa atong nasod. And once more, daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw.
Sa mga context na binakot nito. Like, katong question na yung i-raise na greatest concerns of the youth during this pandemic.